a home and are having trouble navigating through the process, don't worry. The man is here to talk about the top 5 home buying mistakes. We'll have a conversation with Louie Ortiz coming your way after the break. Well, if you are looking to buy a home but are concerned about all the things that could go wrong, you're in luck because we have real estate expert Louie Ortiz here in studio joining us to talk about, well, the top 5 home buyer mistakes and how to navigate through the process of purchasing a home. Good morning to you, Louie.
Hi, good morning.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you again.
This is a very important topic, especially for folks who are trying to get into a new home, or maybe they're moving from their current home somewhere else. I mean, this is a big purchase that you're about to undertake.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see home buyers making mistakes out there, so I made a list of some of the top 5 that I see out there in the market.
Okay, so let's go through that list since we have 5 points to make.
Yep.
What do you see as being one of the top mistakes?
So I would say number 5 would probably be the hidden cost of home ownership. You know, I see people buying a property and then they don't budget for repairs or carpet or upgrades that they want to do and things like this. And I'd say not accounting for the hidden cost of home ownership would be number 5.
That's a good point. Okay, so really you want to kind of do some homework and do some budgeting and really take a closer look at what kind of repairs and what kind of shape that home is.
You know, I see it a lot, especially with first-time homeowners. They'll buy a property and then they want to do some renovations, or they want to put carpet, or that needs a water heater, and they maxed out to buy the house, and then they don't have the budget to do those repairs. So you got to really budget for those and be mindful of those hidden costs.
Okay, very good. And what's next?
I'd say number 4 would be not getting a property inspection. You know, sometimes I see buyers not get a property inspection, and when they do get an inspection, they might have additional questions on something, and they don't get a second inspection. And I think what buyers don't realize is that those inspections can really save them a lot of money. And also, when you have those list of repairs, it's something that you can negotiate with the seller to kind of have them pay for some of those expenses.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
I just assumed that inspections were necessary, or they were part of the process.
They are.
Aren't they required?
They're not required. It's really at the discretion of the buyer to do them. And I do see from time to time, investors especially, they'll waive those property inspections. And I think it's a big mistake because sometimes there's hidden problems like foundation or electrical issues that can be discovered through those inspections. So very important to get those inspections.
Okay, very good. And number 3, what would you say number 3 would be?
Number 3 is probably the loan. What I typically see in the marketplace is that a lot of people will get a quote from a lender, and what they don't do is they don't get an additional quote from a different lender. And what a lot of buyers don't realize is that the rate that you get over the life of the loan can be much more expensive than the purchase price of the home. So that loan is extremely important. And I think it's important to get at least 1 or 2 estimates on that loan before you purchase a property.
Really?
Absolutely.
So, because, you know, oftentimes when you're dealing with lenders, or at least a lender, it's such a long process.
It is.
That I think that kind of discourages you. I mean, I've never really heard of shopping around for a lender, but I guess it makes sense because you're saying you could get a different rate.
It can make a significant difference not only in your monthly payment, but over the life of the loan, the amount of money that you pay for that property. So I highly recommend getting more than 1 estimate on that loan.
Yeah.
Very competitive marketplace right now in that
And
space.
I'm not going to ask you for specifics on how that is because I know it has to do with like the points and dragging the points to the back or something like that. But I do know that you know, when it comes to trying to find the best lender, you're not always going to choose someone that the first person recommended. I mean, you're saying just shop it around and maybe not just take that first lender.
Right.
Okay. Good to know. Number 2.
Number 2, I would say that a lot of people tend to buy on emotion. And what I see a lot in the marketplace is that, you know, you get that person that's really excited about that property and they end up buying on emotion. And I think that can be a big negative. You know, people get so excited, but because they're so excited, they don't really take time to really think about it. And I think I'm forgetting one. I think there's one other one there that.
Yeah. Well, you have the emotion, and then there's one that has to do with the pre-approval.
Oh yes, yes,
pre-approval.
yes. So pre-approval is also very, very important. And what I see a lot of buyers doing in the marketplace is they get pre-approved for a loan, or they don't get pre-approved, which is even worse, and they all go out and start looking at properties and they get excited about something, and then they realize that they can't even buy that property. So that pre-approval is extremely important, so they know what they can afford. And also something about the pre-approval that's also important to point out is just because you're pre-approved for a certain amount, it doesn't mean necessarily that you should buy that most expensive home that you're qualified for. Really look at your finances and make sure that it's going to be manageable to buy that property. So
that's a great point, because let's say you're approved for $1 million loan. Doesn't mean you're going to, and you start shopping for $1 million home. But then when it comes down to it, can you afford the mortgage?
Yep.
That's really what folks need to focus on, is what can I afford as a mortgage, as opposed to the total cost of
and
the
don't
home.
just max out just because, again, you can buy that because you can, and
Yeah, very, very good. Okay, I learned a couple of things myself. It's always good to have a refresher. Louie, thank you so much for spending some time for us, with us. Louie Ortiz from the Louie Ortiz Group. And the real estate market doing okay right now, huh?
Yeah, we're starting to see a rise in inventory right now. It's the first of the year, so we'll see. This will be a very interesting year.
Yeah, I always like to see how it just tends to grow as we approach summer, because most families begin their search now in hopes of moving in the summertime.
And a lot of sellers are starting to put their houses on the market too, all over the county. So it'll be great. It'll be a great year.
Okay, Louie Ortiz, always great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday.
Hi, this is Louie Ortiz. I want to personally thank you for watching just a few of our media and television clips. If you'd like to see more clips, please visit our website at louieortiz.com. We have videos from HGTV, E Entertainment, Fox, a lot of local news stations, and others. If you're looking to market your property differently using technology, media, and television, please contact myself or any member of our team. We look forward to working with you, and thanks again for watching the videos.